Well, hello, Spyder Wayne here, and it is Tuesday, May 28th. I'm out here in the garage today to get my trailer checked over and packed up for my second camping trip of the year coming up this weekend. And I decided I'm going to rotate my tires. And I realized, there's something important on these tires that I think would be useful to anybody who doesn't know about it. So stick around. And you may recognize the music in the intro. I shall explain that later. Okay, so if you recognize that music in the intro, yes, that was for Kraken's Garage and Adventures. My first camping trip of the year, I went to Pennsylvania, and I met up with Tom and Jody in Hanover, PA, on the day she was picking up her new Spyder. And then I went down to Virginia, and I got to spend a couple days with Eric. Now, Eric really helped me out on this trip, big time. And I really have to express my appreciation to Eric and Mrs. Kraken. They had just gotten back from a trip to Las Vegas. They got back late the night before I showed up, and they still put up with me for 2 days. So thank you so much. So anyhow, today I'm going to rotate my tires, but I want to talk about something that, I've worked in the tire industry for 43 years. I've just recently retired, and I never really talk about tires. But there's one thing that I pay close attention to that is kind of important, and I thought I'll just pass that along. Some of you probably already know this, but it is the birth date of a tire, or expiry date of a tire. And to be honest, there is no real expiry date, but the birth date of every tire is on the tire. And so we'll start with my trailer tires here. So this is the spare tire that I'm going to put into circulation. I've taken the right tire off. It's going to go to the left side. The left side will come up as a spare. And just want to get these in here. But anyhow, what I noticed on here is these tires were manufactured in 2020. I bought the trailer in 2021. 2 of the tires were born, or actually were made in the 43rd week of 2020. This one tire was the 18th week of 2020. So 2020. So they're basically 4 years old this year. What I want to talk about is what's recommended in the tire industry as a whole. And I'm going to start with my trailer tires here. I'm going to put up a picture showing where the birth date is. It's in the tire serial number. It's in the DOT number that's on every tire. Now, the actual birth date portion itself, it's at the end of the serial number. So the serial number, or the DOT number, starts with the letters DOT here in the United States, maybe around the world. I don't know about around the world. Followed by a series of numbers and letters. And then at the end of that, you might see kind of an oval indentation with 4 numbers in it. And the first 2 numbers in that last set of 4 numbers is the week number of the year that the tire was manufactured. The last 2 numbers is the year it was manufactured. So all tire manufacturers have to change that slug out in their tire molds every single week and put a new slug in for the current week. It's to identify when the tire was made. So the one common denominator of all tire manufacturers is you should be replacing your tires once they reach 6 years old. Now I'm going to put up a screenshot of something I got from the Dunlop Tire motorcycle website. It talks about motorcycles specifically, but it applies to all the passenger vehicle tires, your cars, SUVs. It applies to motorcycles. It applies to trailer tires. And it's not an expiry date per se. It is a tire manufacturer recommendation. And that is, you should consider replacing your tires at 6 years old. And the reason is, as tires age, they dry out. And one of the terms that's used is called dry rot. But the signs of the tires getting old and drying out is what's called weather cracking. And I'm going to show a picture of my car tires. And the reason why I want to show that one is I bought that car just over 3 years ago. And It came with brand new tires. They're Michelin's. They're really good tires. They're called Michelin Energy. They're made in Canada, but they were shipped over to South Korea when they were put on the car when it was manufactured. Those tires from Michelin, they come with a 65,000 mile limited warranty. And that's a lot of miles for car tires. And I've got 37,000 miles on my car, and I've had it for 37 months. I got it, 3 years, 1 month ago. Okay, so when I was looking at my car tires, the date code, those 4 numbers at the end of the serial number, for 3 out of the 4 tires, they were made in, I think, week 37 of 2019, and 1 tire was week 36 of 2019. So that's September of 2019. So those tires will be 6 years old in September of 2025. So that's just less than a year and a half from now. And there's a pretty good chance I'm going to have to replace those tires before they wear out. So I took a closer look at those tires. I'll put another picture up here, and the weather cracking is starting to show, which is normal. It could start to show as early as 3 years old, but generally anywhere between 4 and 5 years old, you start to see fine little cracks. Those aren't unsafe. Those are fine. That's normal. That's just telling you, hey, the tires are getting old. And the older that tire gets, the bigger those cracks will get and the deeper they'll get. And they usually show up either on the sidewall and possibly in the grooves of the tread. And you just don't want to be riding on tires that have pretty significant cracks in them, because that means the tire is really getting weak. And the bigger the cracks, the higher the risk of the tire failing. So my car, there's a good chance I'm going to have to replace those tires in the fall of 2025, next year, and I probably won't even have 50,000 miles on them. But I'll tell you what, 50,000 miles on car tires, I'm real happy with that. Now, 6 years, like I said, it is not an official expiry date. It is just the recommendation of all the tire manufacturers. Another number that all the tire manufacturers completely agree on is if you have a tire that's 10 years old or older, get rid of it, replace it. 10-year-old tires or older, they are now unsafe. They're just too old, too dry. It doesn't matter how much tread is left on them. That's not what determines if the tire is safe or not. It's the integrity of all the components of the tire. And as the tires dry out, it just weakens. So you could have lots of tread. Now, for most people that put high mileage on their motorcycles or on their cars, you won't have to worry about it. You'll wear out the tires before they reach 6 years old, especially on a motorcycle, because motorcycles don't get 65,000 miles on their tires. But it's more of a rule of thumb, a recommendation, and it's personal choice. If you feel there's plenty of good tread and you're comfortable riding on tires over 6 years old, that's your choice. It's not that it's unsafe, but depending on how they've been stored and how dry they are, it's moving towards being unsafe. So, especially on motorcycles, we don't want old tires. Old guys on a bike, yeah, we like riding, but you want good tires. All right, so, okay, it's time for me to start packing this thing up and getting these tires back on. And if you stuck around, thank you so much. And Eric, thank you, sir. Appreciate everything you've done. And so, as I said earlier, I'm going to close this out with a couple of short clips and some pictures as my tribute and my thank you and appreciation to Kraken's Garage and Adventures. Eric, salutations, my friend. Salut, mon ami.